every day is an opportunity to just be open and creative, and there's only one person who actually can assess whether or not they're living that life, and that's you. My mom bought me a drum set when I was 11, and as just someone who sort of takes in the surroundings and says, what's being validated around me, I realized, whoa, music is a point of connection and is a vital part of how we congregate and how we communicate. That was established very early on for me. In 11th grade, I signed up for this advanced, AP harmony class, which is basically music theory. And Keith Danielle's teaching it. He had this incredible joy about unlocking musical concepts for his students. So this was an important moment for me because it was a teacher getting his students to unlock the possibilities in their own mind. So then when I went to college, I had a skill set, which was I could play piano, and I had a musical mind that I was continually developing, and ears, etc. And I was applying it to being in this band. Finally it occurred to me that, whoa, people are paying me to play piano. I was like, I'm on my way. This is the beginning of a career path. And the conflict for me was always in the back of my mind. I thought, I'm getting paid like $50 a night. I can do the math. It's gonna be tough to grow into some sort of really prosperous career. At this point, I was living in Minneapolis with my then girlfriend, now wife, Jessica. And every weekend we would pack up our old church van and we would drive. We'd drive to Chicago, we'd drive to Kansas City, we would drive to Iowa City. But in the back of my mind, I was always like, what do you do with this to try to evolve it into something that's greater than just me as a piano player? When Josie and Pearl were born, I started pursuing scoring for TV and for film. It had to get pretty dark and me to be pretty miserable, 14-hour days, not seeing Pearl before I was woke up to what was actually happening in my life. I basically sent out an email to all of Josie's friends, parents, because I was friends with them on the playground, and I said, I'm gonna start taking students. And literally within 24 hours, all the slots were sold out. And so when we founded Brooklyn Music Factory, my partner, Pira, and myself, I always said I was a jazz pianist that started a small music school. But I always opened with, I'm a musician that also has a music school. I never even said I'm a musician that owns a business. I didn't even use the word business. So the bulk of my first 30-some years working, I lived in conflict. Slowly, there was a shift. As I learned more and more about what we were actually doing, it became, I run a school and I'm a musician. And then eventually it became, I'm a business owner. The vision was this thing was going to be social, so I was going to create a band program to make sure that kids were always playing together. I had this moment where I was at Keap's conference called IKON, and Seth Godin was speaking. I was super nervous, freaked out. I'd never been to a conference before in my life. I'm a jazz musician, So there I was, it's big, huge, massive hall. I'm on the mic, I'm asking him, Seth, I've got to ask you, I'm a jazz musician that has started a business, and I really feel like I have this identity crisis. I don't know who I'm supposed to be on any given day. And he said, Nate, I think you need to think about creativity differently. I've met many, many musicians that are incredibly creative people and live a creative life, and I've met just as many business owners. Your life as a jazz musician, your life as a business owner, they're one and the same. I left that conference realizing oh, wait a minute. This is actually tapping into a very core part of who I am. I began to associate myself as not only a student, but someone who is trying to become a master teacher, but but then second around being a founder and a CEO and someone who's energizing and teaching our team. You know, Infusionsoft by Keap was basically a ticket to a whole world that I really didn't know about, which was the idea of sales, marketing, automation, CRM. I had to look up what that stood for. I started meeting more and more business people that were really, really inspiring to me. People that run small businesses in the community. In 2016, I came back to IKON. At this point, we had actually entered their small business competition, and Brooklyn Music Factory ended up winning the Small Business Award. I was totally shocked. But winning that award was sort of this awesome moment for us because you have like that external validation where the entire team gets to celebrate. And it was just like, it was another reminder of like, we're doing it our way, and it may feel left of center to some, but the reality is that we all believe in what it is we're trying to accomplish. We want to find joy in it every single day, and we want to do it in a way that feels really genuine for everyone who's part of the company. Fast forwarding to 2020, dude, it is a year. It is definitely a year. I finally decided, like, you know what? Is this an opportunity, or is this actually devastating? It's all in your perspective. We've always wanted to be able to have online courses. We are going to be 100% online school, and we are rebranding this entire company to be that. We were introducing these online large classes, like these things I call big music games, where like we were getting 20, 30 kids like zooming in from all over the country to play music games for an hour with me, like super music nerd moves. And like, I'm like, the thing that I thought was going to take forever to do, wait a minute, we're actually doing it. I believe that music is an incredibly powerful tool to bring people together. And Brooklyn Music Factory is just one stop of many for these families in a community that they love. Business isn't just numbers and choices. Business is, in fact, a daily opportunity to be as creative as I'm willing to be.